Okay, so I'm going to walk you through what these exercises look like in a little bit more detail. Now, with this initial one where we are setting up the metatarsal heads on the edge of the towel roll here, this is a general one, remember, because we're not really getting that external rotation of the forefoot where we're just driving the dorsiflexion at the first metatarsal. But when you have a client that has stiff feet for a prolonged period of time, you don't want to get too picky with how you are creating directional motion within the foot. You just want to get general motion across the foot, and you want to get a general lengthening of the medial arch. This provides that ability. Also, like I said, we need to consider that when we're trying to open up the foot and get load simultaneously into the plantar flexors, we need to be aware that this may be the first time the client's experiencing that. And so I often find that when you do that, when your head, arms and trunk are stacked over top your foot and you are plantar flexing your whole body mass, that can be quite challenging for clients. And generally, initially, I actually want the client to express more repetitions, get more time under tension with this, with lower load. That's why I have a chair in front now, because it allows me to offload the mass of the head, arms and trunk and allow me to get more reps, more time under tension through the plantar flexors as the foot is biasing more pronation. So I'll show you what this looks like now. So I'm going to stand up. I'm going to put the first metatarsal head just on the edge of the towel here so you can see. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to rotate my pelvis. Again, you can't see my head now, but you should be able to see my pelvis. I'm going to rotate my pelvis to the right. Now, what I typically tell clients is I tell them to imagine they have a clock face. You have 12 o'clock in front. I want them to turn the pelvis to the right towards 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock perhaps, depending on how much motion I want to get into the foot. But generally, again, I want to get a little bit of a bend of the knee. That allows for a little bit more of a rotation of the tibia internally relative to the foot. Of course, we're getting more of an external rotation of the tibia relative to the femur. But what that's going to do then, you should see that dropping of the medial arch. And then I'm going to offload the rear leg. I can keep that on the ground for a bit of balance if I want to as well. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to crush down through the metatarsal heads with a bit more bias through the first metatarsal head. And I'm going to raise the heel off the ground. Now I can just hold that there as a yielding isometric. Or what I generally like to do to get some dynamic motion here is I like to drop the heel and then lift. Drop the heel and lift. Keeping that rotation of the pelvis to the right. Drop and lift. So the reason I'm just going through a partial range in this end range is because again, when we're biased towards dorsiflexion, that's going to couple with pronation of the foot as well. Not always, but you're naturally going to pronate the foot more easily when the foot or when the ankle is biased towards dorsiflexion. So I don't want to go through a full range of motion here, because naturally when I go through a full range, I want that foot to be able to supinate. So that's why I'm biasing the dynamic motion towards dorsiflexion here. And you can see here that because I have my weight distributed over the chair here, it makes it much more easy for me to express multiple reps.